So my first topic is a Halloween Samhain topic, and I know I missed it, but I was packing my life away on the 31st, and we moved on the 1st. So I haven't really had time to sit down and make a movie. So here it is, late, but it's okay because Samhain comes again next year. Now, I have been hearing a lot around Halloween every year, a lot about the Native American community speaking out about the cultural appropriation, misuse, patronization, etc., the commercial marketing of traditional Native ceremonial regalia. Not costumes, you wouldn't call it costumes, regalia, ceremonial outfits, clothing, headdresses, feathers, things like that. And the anger is aimed towards commercial manufacturing. Playboy, I think, has a version of the Indian princess or Indian chief costume. I'm sure other major retailers carry them too. But being that I'm not native, at least not that I know of, I am a New Englander after a while, and French Canadian, who knows? Being that I'm not a native, I don't know how that exactly feels. I can look at it as an outsider and go, wow, that's really effed up that we in the 21st century are still making, manufacturing, wearing these costumes that are a blatant disregard, disrespectful. It's total BS. We know now that it's wrong, or at least we should collectively know that that's wrong. We shouldn't be wearing these fake commercial manufactured costumes. Polyester little tiny miniature loincloths and little feather headdresses and like war paint makeup that I think Playboy manufactures. And what else? Indian headdresses, plastic or whatever tomahawks. Is that really okay? I don't think it is. I feel like if you're gonna dress up as a character, make it a legit character. However, the whole Pocahontas thing, I had a Pocahontas nightgown, and I was Princess Jasmine one year because when I was a kid, all those movies were coming out. Now, is there a difference? This is the first part. Is there a difference between the actual fictional characters or historical figures? Like Princess Jasmine wasn't a real person. Pocahontas was, but the Pocahontas that we know is the Disney take on her. The Disney Pocahontas is not even close to the real Pocahontas. Is that different than, say, just dressing up in a generic Indian princess costume that's made of polyester with a plastic tomahawk and fake feathers? Or is it the same? Because it's still an ethnic figure. Now, however, it's okay to dress up as characters, non-ethnic characters. Pocahontas, there was a huge focus on her ethnicity because of who she was in history. Is there a difference? Say I dressed up as Queen Elizabeth I. You're probably nobody's gonna bat an eye. We're the same ethnicity. I come from England. Nobody's gonna care. However, if as an adult I dressed up as Pocahontas or Princess Jasmine or something like that, is there a line that's being crossed? Take away the proper noun. Take away Pocahontas or Princess Jasmine. Let's just say make it an Arabian princess or a Native American princess. Is that the line? Now, I'm a belly dancer. Some of you know that. So I do dress up in Moroccan, Arabian, Indian style garb. I do have a sari. Is that okay? Is the difference in the way it is used? Being a belly dancer, I know the history for the most part. Not everybody knows everything about everything. I know as much history right now as I can about belly dance, where it came from. I'm familiar with different styles, the meaning of everything. I know what the moves are called. I don't slutify myself, which is another topic entirely. That must be okay. So many people do it. So many white girls who aren't Middle Eastern or Indian or Turkish or anything are belly dancers. They dress up in the coin skirts. They wear the saris. They wear the garb. They wear all this. That is okay, isn't it? So is it because it's a proper use? It must be a proper use of the culture, of the clothing, of everything. And dressing up as Indian princess, a costume that came in a plastic bag that you bought at Spencer's or Target or Walmart or wherever, Savers, who cares, there must be a line there. And I think there is a line. Now, when I go to powwows, Native American powwows, I don't dress up in Native American regalia, even though I'm going to a Native gathering. I'm not Native. And even though I am pagan and follow many different nature, different polytheistic, earth-centered practices, including some Native ones, that doesn't automatically mean I'm part of the club. It doesn't. I have Native friends. They include me in their Native things, Native drum circles, Native this, but those are people I am personally acquainted with, not an entire community that I don't know. There's a difference. So when I go to powwows, I wear moccasins with jeans, and I might wear an Earth Mother t-shirt and do my hair in a braid. But that's how I would normally dress. I don't dress for the occasion because it's not my occasion. I'm going there as a visitor. I am white, I am not Native, and I'm not part of a tribe. Like, even if I was a thimbleful Native, I may be, who freaking knows. I'm not part of a tribe, I haven't been invited. Now, however, at powwows, there are special times where the non-Native visitors, people who are not participating in the dances and the events, people who are there to spectate, visit, and enjoy it, there are times where we can get up and dance, and I totally do that. We've been invited to by our hosts, by the natives hosting the event, and I get up and I dance with my friends. It's our time to participate. However, there are people who take pictures when a million times they're told not to. That is rude. And I think it all goes under the same disrespect, patronization. You've been told not to take a picture. You've been told not to participate. You've been told to respect the ground, respect the people because of ABC. You've been told why. And when you fail to do that, what does that say about you? It happens all the time. We're told 10 times, please don't take pictures. This is a ceremony that we do not want pictures taken of. What do? You take pictures. Please get the fuck out. You can't be here. You don't know how to follow directions, and you clearly don't respect what's going on here. Same with the costumes. Everything. My culture is not a costume, basically. My religion's not a costume. My ethnicity is not a costume. Now, moving on to the next part, as a pagan, as a witch, as somebody who practices very earth-centered beliefs, part of an earth-centered religion, I am a witch. I have a very strong tie to the Celtic ancestors. I have been developing a strong tie to the Norse ancestors. My ancestors were Danish. That's me. That's who I am. It's who a lot of us are. Witch. Some people are Wiccan. Some people are just old world witches, like me. Is there a line there? Is it still, because it's Halloween and witches are a symbol of Halloween still somehow, is it cultural, not cultural, but is it religious, spiritual, maybe even cultural appropriation for us, for non-pagans, to still dress up as witches? And I'm not just talking about put on a black cape and a black pointed hat. That's different, in my opinion. It can be annoying when people create this character and then you just want to smack them because it's like, you don't know what you're doing, please take the freaking hat off. What I'm talking about is the green-faced, worded hag, not crone, because that's a proper term we use to describe an elderly, intelligent, sage woman. The hag. The green, wordy, pointed hat, all black, evil, child-eating, hex and cursing witch. That's what I mean. Is it the same thing as people dressing up as Indian chiefs and Indian princesses? I think it's along the same lines. Granted, Indian, being native, is an ethnicity and a culture, in a way, whereas being a witch may not necessarily be an ethnicity, but it is a culture. Because if you're a Celtic witch, if you practice Scandinavian magic, if you're an old world European traditional witch, that I think ties in with our actual heritage, our ancestry, our culture. A lot of pagans, especially the Celtic, Norse, old world traditional, a lot of us, that comes from our heritage and our ethnicity. We don't just choose the magic and the mythology and the practices because they look cool. We go, yes, I believe that, but you know what? This is my ancestry. That's what it is for us. So at Halloween, when I dress up as a witch, I'm not really putting on a costume, am I? We're not really putting on costumes. We're putting on garb. We're putting on regalia, the same way that natives do when they go to their powwows, when they have their gatherings. Only this time, it's not native. We're talking about pagans and witches. Is it the same thing? So when we go trick-or-treating with our little brothers, or when we have our parties, and we're dressed up, we're not really in costume, are we? We're in regalia. That's our thing. That's what we do. That's our holiday. It's spiritual for us, and it's ancestral. So when people dress up as witches, non-pagans dress up as witches for Halloween, in the 21st century where we're more enlightened, is that crossing a line? Is that still appropriate? Is it still appropriate for people to dress up as warlocks and witches and wizards and go around casting pretend spells on people, etc., etc.? We've seen it. I mean, dressing up as Elphaba, the Wicked Witch of the West, is different. Like Pocahontas and Princess Jasmine, she's a character. She's a fictional character. But when you're putting on a costume and you're not putting on a character with that costume, there's a line. Of course, there's a gray area. I can't cover everything. Life is not black and white. There's gray areas. If you want to dress up as a witch and you're not a witch, and you create an appropriate, realistic character out of that, like old wise Earth Mother who lives in the woods, I'm a witch, I can respect that. That's somebody who knows what a witch is. They're doing it in a respectful manner. So where's the line? Let's talk.